Let's start with an exercise to stretch the fingers of your left hand. We'll play the chromatic scale, that is the scale that contains all of the 12 notes. Now we'll play it in the first position, that is the position that contains the open strings. Then we'll also play the movable one, but let's start with the one in the first position. Play slow and let the notes ring. If you cannot play the notes in sequence, start without a metronome, and then once you got it, set it to 60 BPM and work your way up to 100. Now the next exercise is still the chromatic scale, but the movable version of it. It starts on A. You only need to move the scale to the 12th fret to play the chromatic scale starting from E. That's the cool thing about scales. You only need to learn the pattern once. Let's play it. Those were your 3 drills for the left hand. Start slow, then work your way up to 100 BPM. You will notice a different tension for each note and string. These are good exercises to get acquainted with it. The next exercise will train your right hand by alternating groups of 16th notes on the open strings and way up the neck of the guitar. Bring also the previous exercise to 100 BPM. Let's now introduce syncopation. It's basically the shifting of an accent. Think of the initial drum fill of the song Smells Like Teen Spirits. It's basically a 16th note followed by an 8th note, then another 16th note, or more generally a short note followed by a longer note, then another short note. play this, bring this next exercise to 90 BPM instead. A triplet is a group of 3 notes. 8-note triplets divide a quarter exactly in 3 parts. Quarter note triplets instead have more of a syncopated feel. Listen, then play it. When 2 notes are tied, the second one is not played. When we tie the first 2 notes of a triplet, we obtain the shuffle rhythm. Let me demonstrate with an exercise. So here are some triplets, and here are some tied triplets. The classical shuffle rhythm heard in blues. Now keep in mind that any note can be tied to any other note. This way you can have lots of rhythmic variation in the guitar parts that you play or that you write. There are also dotted notes. A dotted note is just a note with a right dot to its right side. It adds half of the value to the note itself it is applied to. We have, for example, a half note whose value is 2/4. By adding a dot to its right side, its value will become of 3/4. It's equivalent to a tied note, but it's important that you know it exists because you might encounter it. Let me show you. The first and second measures are identical. The first one uses a dotted note, the second one a tied note. The same goes for the third and fourth measures and for the fifth and the sixth. As you can see, some are easier to read than others. Before ending this video, let's learn how to read chord diagrams. We have the name of the chord above and then a representation of a guitar fretboard below. The leftmost string is the sixth string, the thickest one. An X means mute the string, don't let it ring. At 0 means let it ring open. The circles are the actual frets you need to press with your fingers. The top part is the one closer to the headstock of the guitar. And the numbers within the circles are the number of the fingers you need to use, where 1 is the index, 2 is the middle, 3 is the ring finger, and 4 is the pinky. This concludes the first part of the course. Now that you know how to read guitar tabs and know the basics about music, we can move on and learn more about chords, chord progressions, and arpeggios. Remember to practice 1 hour a day the technical exercises I gave you. I'll be watching you. Do them. Do them or you'll never get good. It's the only way you can get good with guitar. You need to practice. There are no shortcuts. See you in the next part of the course.